Shut it. What up, y'all? It is your rail fan from the 810 here, back at it again with, I would say, another no train related Yammery video. And today I will be making my long overdue video on this thing right here. Yep, this is my car. So for starters and those who don't already know or are just new to the channel, this right here is my daily driver right here, a 2009 Chevrolet Impala LT, dubbed Vlad the Impalinator. Now, I have actually shoved in a few references of this car here before in some past videos on this channel, such as my end of 2024 special, my channel trailer, as well as a bunch of other videos. Now, I know what some of y'all casualties are thinking. Damon, this is the ugliest car I have ever seen. Now, hold on there, buddo. You may be right, but this vehicle right here has actually outlived 3 different vehicles of mine, as well as my old pet cat. Press F to pay respects, y'all. And he continues to live. Yes, he may be ugly, but at least he's really, really reliable. Check it out. Right now, he has 345,219 miles, and he still continues to live, and it's like 70% highway mileage too. And yeah, he's still climbing, still running like a clock, and driving like a big rig. Well, kind of. And yes, and also in today's video, I am also gonna try and convince y'all that Chevy Impalas are the perfect starter car to rail fans, and overall the superior of modern sedans. So, let's walk them around, shall we? Now to get to the obvious part here, when you climb inside of old Vlad, there's a lot going on in here. Starting with the most obvious, at least to the driver, when you turn them on, you could see that he currently has in total of 6 active dash lights on. And to get technical with them all, the tire light is on due to all 4 of my TPMS or tire pressure sensors being dead. Both the ABS and traction control light on are due to my right front wheel speed sensor wire being chewed up by the axle due to the wheel bearing being clocked wrong. Or by that I mean it getting installed in the wrong clocking, where the wire faces a wrong direction and gets caught in something. It also doesn't help that that wire also got pinched up in 1 or 2 accidents of mine, which I will talk about shortly. The airbag light is on due to a faulty sensor in my front passenger seatbelt tensioner. The brake warning light is intermittent. It comes on when it wants to, but sometimes it stays on due to a very, very slow brake fluid leak coming from my master cylinder. And lastly, the check engine light is on due to a broken component in my gas tank, which was a part of the evaporative emission system, but oh well. It's also on because of some history codes as well as another different incident, which I will also soon talk about. Vlad also has a cracked windshield, which was already cracked when I bought it, and I also made it worse by punching it one time. And your eyes are not deceiving you, because yes, you can also see that a bunch of material is missing from on top of the steering wheel. And yes, this bare piece of aluminum feels like 1,000 degrees when you touch it after leaving the car to sit in the hot sun for some time. And most recently, yeah, it has, Vlad has no rear view mirror anymore. It's on the floor because, well, I tried popping it out from that mechanism before realizing for way too long that I needed to take out that little screw first, and yeah, I tore it off when I was trying to get some things off of it that were around it. Now let's go ahead and start him up, shall we? If he will even start. All right. Yeah, he was not always this loud. I mean, his trailer park ass sounding exhaust system also came from another accident that I got into this thing of mine, in which I promised to talk about later. I mean, seriously, a couple revs out of this baby and then all the methanese from the trailer park will start flocking up towards you. Also, want to see something cool? Yes, Vlad right here has a redneck halfway remote start system where you could just take the key out and do whatever you want while the car is running. And he died. Ah, gosh. Now, obviously, as you can see, this ain't normal. In fact, this was a recall on many of these General Motors products during Vlad's time, especially with the W-body sedans like the Impala Vlad is. And I actually got several letters in the mail offering to replace my ignition tumbler right here for free, which obviously you can see I obviously ignored. And yes, this still turns once you get past the lock cycle. But we should probably shut him off for now. Oh shoot, I probably need these, do I? But yeah, now aside from all the interior quirks that Vlad here has, now let's talk about the overall history of Vlad and how he got to this state. So now, I bought Vlad here back in the spring of 2023 off of a distant relative of mine for only $200. It was non-running, and even if it was at the time, it was not safe to drive on public roads due to it having 2 bad wheel bearings, 2 bad outer tie rod ends, bald tires, and bad brakes. He had a little over 250,000 miles on him at the time, but deep down, the miles did not scare me. But after shoving a battery in him and tons of extensive wrenching and parents helping me get it back on the road, the Vlad era has begun. Before this vehicle, I had a 1997 Chevrolet K1500 Silverado, and this truck I had was gorgeous. Rust-free, low miles, and just one pretty beast of a machine. That thing was my pride and joy, until unfortunately I had to drive this car instead to trade school because I needed something more fuel efficient to get to and from trade school and other stuff I was doing at the time. And I also didn't really need a truck anymore at the time, so I regrettably sold it. But later on in life, I finished trade school, and I also decided to take rail fanning more seriously during the time process. So not only I was basically driving this thing all the way to Grand Rapids suburbs and back every weekend, I was also taking this thing everywhere. Talking from the downriver Detroit area, then to other places like Battle Creek, up north like Cadillac, then out of state like Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and even as far as Iowa and New York. And even after all of that, he has still yet to leave me stranded, and each time I had to pull over on the side of the highway for like an emergency reason, the problem was quickly resolved. One example being a tire blowout in Illinois. Now to get to some of the spicier stuff, and to answer the main question, why is Vlad all colorful and cobbled together with nothing but random junkyard parts and even zip ties? Well, I'll tell you, the first 2 accidents I had were both me hitting a deer who ran right in front of me on my way to trade school a couple of years ago. The first deer did absolutely nothing but shatter a headlight lens, but the second one absolutely mauled my hood. Like, it crinkled it up like a pop can, and it also completely shattered the old plastic on my front bumper here. And also the rest of my driver's side headlight was shattered too. But soon after, on that weekend, I went to the junkyard and picked up a hood for him that came off of a 2006 Chevy Monte Carlo, and also a headlight that came off of a 2008 Chevy Impala SS. But that headlight had some wiring issues, so I had to later replace it with this one right here that you're seeing right now. And yes, it also came from a junkyard, off of another Impala, obviously. And yes, if you guys seen the clips in the beginning of the video, it clearly shows that this came from a junkyard due to it being full of bugs, fog, and also the fact that the low beam headlight bulb is already out. And back during that same time I replaced the hood and headlight for the first time here, I also grabbed up a 100 pack of zip ties and started doing some drift stitches on the front bumper. And to this day, still holding on nice and solid. And the next accident that I had on this thing right here was back in December of 2023, where I was on my way to trade school during a really bad snowstorm, and then all of a sudden when I was turning on M66, I lost all control of the car and slammed right into a guardrail, which also broke my passenger side headlight and dented my fender pretty badly right here. But after some junkyard parts later getting shipped to the trade school, he was put back together and on the road again without many complaints. And now fast forward to July 2024, where my next accident happened, where I had this shit feed of a Tesla driver brake check me when I was on I-94 East, which then caused me to hit my brakes way too hard, and since this thing doesn't have working ABS, it locked up both of my rear tires, and I started sliding, and I kissed the cement wall that divides the east and west side of I-94, which caused me to spin out even further and clip out this one car that was behind me, which caused a big dent in my rear bumper. And yeah, that was definitely awful. But after some more work later, I managed to pull the dent out, as you can see, get some Rust-Oleum, sprayed it all back together, and once again, Vlad was back on the road without many complaints. And now moving on to the most recent notable accident, and it was back in April 2024 when I was on my way back up from Westfield, New York. I was driving on I-80 through the downtown Cleveland area, and then I will be honest, this one was mostly my fault. I was coming up to this really sharp curve, little did I know, not the 35-mile-an-hour ones, one of the other ones. And I wasn't seeing it coming up because it was an uphill, then a curve. and I was distracted at the time, and once again, in response, I hit my brakes a little too hard trying to slow down for the corner, which did nothing but made me lose control of my back tires again, which then also caused me to slam into the guardrail on the right, causing this crinkle shaving damage that also even put a hole in my fender right here. But as you can see, after some more junkyard parts, because it also shattered my passenger side headlight again, as well as pulling out the dents with a torque wrench, well, except not. That was when the winter accident happened in 2023. Point being, after pulling out the dents and spraying some more white Rust-Oleum on it, he was looking nice and fresh again. Oh yeah, and that accident also kind of messed up my mirror in the process, so I went to another junkyard and pulled off a red mirror off of an '06 Chevy Impala. Gotta love it. So yeah, that was all the rough shifts that Vlad had to go through. And yeah, that's all due to me simply being a young driver in this generation and whatnot. But yet, no casualty was big enough to take this beast of a car down. In fact, I still drove this thing around like every single day without any issues whatsoever. And when I make new friends or see my friends around in like outside gatherings like rail fanning or whatever, I pull up in this thing and somehow they immediately love it. I posted this thing on a Facebook group called Underwhelming Cars, and the post blew up in like less than 24 hours. It's that popular apparently. People, I mean, if you really think about it, people love a tasteful shitbox every now and then. So yes, I'm quite literally locally loved and hated, if you want to reimburse that saying, whatever the hell it still means. And now I know what you're thinking, Damon, there's no way that this thing just being a shitbox is the reason why it's being loved. Well, there are other reasons why this thing is also loved, and you want to know what they are? Follow me and I'll show you. So back when I was daily driving this thing, and when I'm pulling up to the function, as you can see here, this is where I used to have a big old foamer antenna mounted up, but took it off due to various reasons. And I also have a whole gallery of different goofy stickers back here, which I actually received all as gifts. Let me go ahead and go over them for you, shall we? I'm having a strong pee-pee poo-poo, because in politics, that's all there is, right? Injured? Good. No weenies allowed, and yes, this rule is actually and figuratively active for any of Vlad's passengers. But in all seriousness though, this SpongeBob episode was an absolute classic. Certified YouTube mechanic, because in the world of certified auto mechanics like me, all data in Mitchell 1 Pro Demand can be way too damn expensive, so why not get your automotive information for free off of the biggest video media site in the world? Also next to a very faded Zuma sticker. And there's also this. Get the funk out of my way. I am trying to chase a train. Now to completely be honest with y'all, I wish this sticker right here, it was actually like a little screen that I could turn on and it'll light up this and say this while I'm chasing a train. But I guess this'll do. And shout out goes to my buddy John for giving me this one. And a few extra stickers, such as my old trade school parking pass, and also the Adrianac Railroad, which was handed to me by an older gentleman in Deschler, Ohio. So I guess with all that aside, let's take Vlad out for a short spin, maybe out to the track, shall we? But except not. I can still drive him, but if you guys already observed what was happening to him earlier, I can't really drive him very far. And that's all because, well, Vlad right here has been experiencing some electrical issues, which I'll explain more towards in the end. But I guess with that said, let's go ahead and try firing up and driving him down the road, shall we? Right. Now let's try shifting him out of park. Whoops, I accidentally unplugged my power inverter. Alright, well, he's moving on his own power, but not very long. I gotta drive him back home anyway. So, how does the Impalinator drive? Well, you can see it's not going well so well right now because he's running off of 2 cylinders, but that's okay because, well, I can explain it still. So Vlad drives like a dream, actually. As far as some of y'all may be surprised, he actually drives like a normal car. Well, minus the obvious noise, lights, and also the gasoline smell from the exhaust. But that's okay because, well, he's still driving right now despite him being in limp mode. He rose through all the gears pretty well in that tired 4-speed automatic transmission of his. And he even rides relatively well for what he is. Chevrolet back in the day used just to be the cheapy car, but It's still not the lowest of the lowest. It ain't no Buick or Cadillac, but it ain't no Saturn either. He actually keeps up with modern traffic pretty well. I mean, then again, it's a 2009. If you really think about it, this car is not too old compared to many of the cars on the road today. And it's even a GOAT when it comes to chasing trains. Was a GOAT. Like, seriously, it's crazy how much he could do, even all battered up he is, and with even more battered up mileage. Now, Vlad has the 3.5 liter V6 engine, which makes 211 horsepower and around the same for torque, I believe, which in my opinion is the best all-around commuter engine for it, and the most reliable if you really think about it. These Impalas also came with the significantly crappier 3.9 liter V6, or you could even get a 5.3 liter V8 engine, which was in the SS if you like speed, all of which was offered from 2006 to 2009, but obviously later on in 2011, GM went bankrupt and recovered and killed the Impala SS and only offered these things, that stupid 3.6 liter V6, which had 300 horsepower, but loved to eat timing chains. But yeah, minus the fact that he's obviously slow, which is to be expected, but it's still not all that bad. Even with this exhaust, and I averaged around 24 miles per gallon in this thing, and I could even put E85 fuel in him if I really wanted to, whenever I want to, and if I don't feel like spending all that much on gas anyway. I gotta say, he really loves that corn juice. Also, believe it or not, the air conditioning and cruise control still work. Neither have gone out on me either ever since I started owning this thing. Crazy, right? Also, make sure you always put your seatbelts on, kids. Even though your car, even if your car only runs on 2 cylinders or whatever. Alright, now let's go ahead and limp them back into the driveway. Like a boss. This thing almost died on me like twice, and the gauges are twitching too. Alright, but anyways, now let's finally answer the final question. Is the W-body Chevy Impala the best all-around vehicle for rail fanning and daily driving? Well, that's a hard maybe. Because to go over some drawbacks, well, obviously, as I said earlier, these things are slow. Mainly because they're just a big, heavy, full-size sedan that only runs on 6 cylinders. Even the SS with the V8, like, those are not even all that fast either. And these things also have a really big turning circle for a sedan, like close to 30 feet in diameter or something like that, or whatever is considered a big turning circle. Point being, you can't really clear a parking lot like I would say that is 30 to 40 feet wide, and you gotta do like a 3-pointer, you know what I'm saying? And they also lack quite a lot of technological features if you're a technology guy, especially with Vlad here, since he's an LT, he's like one step above from being a bottom of the barrel model. Like, he has no heated seats, he doesn't even have OnStar even, but at least he's got dual zone climate controls and alloy wheels. Those are options that Vlad has, as well as a spoiler. And most of all of the Impalas of this generation and the previous and the one after it are all only front wheel drive, which could be a pain to control for inexperienced drivers, especially around in the winter. But if you're a pro or an experienced driver, they're okay. I would rather have a rear-wheel drive vehicle, to be honest with you, because those are at least more fun to control. For the tinkerers like me, though, this generation of Chevy Impala was quite the weird one. They were either total lemons or absolute tanks that you could not kill, with no in between. They are decent on fuel, I'll give it that, and it also has a big trunk and a spacious back seat for like rail fanning gear and your friends, and they're easy to work on and parts are dirt cheap, and they're just good-looking, comfortable cars to travel with. And as you can see from all the examples that I told you all earlier about Vlad, junkyards are your best friends with these cars. You can find them everywhere, even running and driving in nice condition. Like, for example, you could find a decent condition one with low miles for under $4 grand, which makes this a really good starter car for new drivers, minus the winter driving part that I talked about earlier. But point being, this is a good, cheap first car. I even saw a Chevy Impala SS with like 150,000 miles being listed for $2,000, which the LS is the bottom of the barrel model. But still, point being, these cars are great. This car has had such a great legacy and was plain iconic in nearly all generations it was made in, and I have a few friends who own or even owned one of these. I also referenced a few of my younger rail fanning friends to buy one of these for their first car, and even BNSF 1458 himself bought one of these Impalas after going through that shitbox Ford F-150 that he had. Now, with all that talked about, now let's get over to the sad part and get that over with. I am actually gonna be parting ways with Vlad right here very soon. And I mean, come on, this thing is all beat up to hell, rusted, and I'm overall getting tired of driving a shitbox everywhere around. that, especially one that's loud and it smells like gasoline inside the interior due to it. And going back to this topic that I brought up many times, and you guys also saw while I was driving this thing, Vlad has recently experienced an issue with his engine on my way home to work a few times recently, where on the highway the engine would either completely cut off completely or shut off with no warning. Also with this theft deterrent system for some reason preventing me from starting it back up in some cases. Randomly on the highway it also goes into limp mode, as you guys may have saw during my drive, but I guess I said let's go ahead and take a look at the clips of when this happened for the first time. Yeah. I think this is it. Vlad's done. Why is he only running on 3 fucking cylinders? Me. I'm losing brakes. Holy shit. I don't know how many cylinders he's running on, but I can definitely tell you it's not all 6. Holy shit, I limped them all the way to work. Is that a rod knock I'm hearing? Oh, f me, my guy. Okay. Will he still start? Will he still start? He sounds like a fucking diesel. Holy shit, my guy. Vlad, I am sorry to put you through this, but you made it all the way to work on time, so I'm proud of you. Let's see what's going on under that hood. Yeah, you are running on like 2 Chat, what should I do here? But obviously, yeah, being the absolute tank that Vlad is right here, on my way back from work during that first day, he started right up and ran and drove perfectly fine the whole way home. I am not ready for this. All right, well, 8 hours later, let's see if Vlad is still dead. No fucking way. No. There ain't no way. You're running perfectly fine now? How? But after those 2 days, I kind of looked around it and tried doing some research, and I'm suspecting that it's probably an ignition issue with the engine, like the coils are going bad, or a bad wire to either the theft deterrent module or the powertrain control module. But I haven't really looked into it deeply, mainly because, well, I don't think it's really worth paying thousands to a professional mechanic to properly look at this thing's electrical gremlins with the proper tools, only for said mechanic to probably say that this thing's Dunyan rings. But either way, I figured I'd make this video talking about the best damn daily driver I have ever owned by a long shot, and also with some pointers on why General Motors killing the Impala altogether back in 2020 was a huge mistake of theirs. And to leave the proper legacy of him here and dump some deep lore before I do replace him, I decided to make this video, and also tell y'all why, you know, all of these qualities of Vlad, and after all the things he's been through, and the fact that he's still running and driving, is the reason why you younger people should buy one of these too, whenever you're ready. And oh, if you're wondering what is the current yet temporary replacement for Vlad is... and it would be this fucking thing. Now, I know what you're thinking, Damon, why the hell would you sell such a beautiful, bright red, classic truck for a Subaru in hopes of replacing a bulletproof sedan like Vlad? And truth is, I honestly have no idea. You see, so this car is a 2005 Subaru Legacy 2.5 GT. It's all-wheel drive and fast, and I may have bought it just because I wanted something quick and also good and better into winter. But at the same time, if you really think about it, nothing can really replace like such an American and Canadian sedan with Russian build quality. As good as this car is on paper, it was more of an impulse buy than anything as I recollect it all. So I guess there's one of the major disadvantages of being young and tistic. I guess you could say that the decision making in buying this blue suppository was the mental equivalent of a broken condom. But as it stands now, this thing runs and drives just fine. I did unfortunately have to dump thousands in getting it running and driving properly because the previous owner absolutely beat it to hell and did not maintain it all that much. But hey, it works for now. If anyone wants this thing, $3 grand and it's yours. And soon I will use that money to get another Impala or an equivalent W-body sedan like Vlad from GM. Also, if you want Vlad, he's for sale too. But anyways, I'm all yapped out for tonight on this one. So thanks for watching. And if you guys enjoy videos like these, be sure to smash that like button and smash that subscribe button. And let me know down in the comments below if you have any other questions about Vlad the Impalinator, or if I missed something, comment down below as well. And I would love to hear y'all feedback overall. I'm always open to video suggestions, and we're almost to 3,000 subscribers. So thank you all for the support. And whether or not if I hit 3,000 subscribers before this video is posted, and I guess with that said for now, wherever I may do next, I'll see y'all next time. Over and out.